Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the 90-Day Buyer Challenge, with MAPS coaches Sarah Detmore and Lance Loken. Please note this webinar is being recorded, and you will automatically receive webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them in the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Coach Sarah and Lance, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Susie. Hello, everybody. This is Sarah Detmore, and I'm here with Lance Loken. We are so excited to be partnering with MAPS Coaching to bring you this 90-Day Buyer Challenge group program. We have some great material to cover today, which will take you guys kind of through what to expect when you register and join us for this 8-week program that kicks off the first week of July. And to start out with, we just wanted to introduce ourselves real quick. So, Lance, tell us about yourself.
Hi, everyone. This is Lance Loken. We started the Loken Group back in January 2011, and it's been a wild ride the last couple of years, and it was a rough start, but we are where we are today because of the people that we have in our organization and the systems and processes that have been developed a long time. And we're very excited to be able to provide this the resources for you so you can grow your business as well.
And I'm Sarah Detmore. I am the VP of our outside sales buyer division with the Loken Group. I have been with Lance and Karina and a member of the Loken Group for 6 years. I'm also a one-on-one MAPS agent coach. And like I said at the top of the hour, Lance and I are just really excited to partner with MAPS and bring you some great material, best practices, systems, and processes for working with buyers. And so we'll just kind of dive in here. So a little bit about the program. You know, we have some great material to cover in the 8 weeks that we'll be together with the 90-Day Buyer Challenge. And kind of the concept that we decided on when we put this program together was, you know, it's an 8-week program. There are webinars weekly, just like this, and 8 weeks of webinar training, content, materials, scripts, dialogues. We'll go over some great material as far as how to set yourself up for success working with a buyer, which in turn would set your buyers up for success. And then we have a follow-up webinar. So there'll be 9 webinars total, but we'll do a follow-up webinar at the end of the 90-day cycle. So that way we can really track and see how you're implementing these systems and processes into your business and the results that we're seeing on your buyer business when you do choose to implement some of the things we'll discuss in the program. And Lance, why is the 90-day cycle important?
Well, because whatever you start doing today, you're going to see those results 90 days later. And we've tracked this quite a bit, and it inevitably happens this way. You pick up the phone today, and those people tend to work with you over the course of the next couple of months, and then they close, and that process typically takes about 90 days.
Right. So Gary Keller always says that we do real estate in a 90-day cycle. So the 90-Day Buyer Challenge was really in alignment with that and knowing that the business that we do is in a 90-day cycle. And so we're launching this program at the middle of the year. So our target audience here, of course, are buyer agents who are perhaps on a mega team, or a buyer agent looking to grow into a lead buyer agent space, perhaps rainmakers who are interested in hiring a buyer agent and growing a buyer business as part of their team, independent agents who may just love working with buyers, right? This is a very buyer-focused program, and we have some great material to share with you guys just today to kind of get our mindset in the right place. So as Susie mentioned at the top of the call, all of our calls and webinars will be recorded for review. If you have to miss a week, that's fine. We'd obviously love for you guys to join us for all 9 weeks, but all the webinars are recorded just in case somebody has a conflict. We understand that things come up. And Lance and I do love to have these webinars be interactive. And so if anybody has a question while we're going through some material here in the next couple of minutes, you can just jot it in the question box and we can answer some things as they come up. And then of course, we'll leave the last 5-10 minutes for some general questions and answers as well. So some topics we're going to cover in our program, we have some buyer agent specific scripts that we'll review and do some role play. We will talk about some buyer specific lead generation sources. We will discuss hosting successful open houses, an open house goes much farther beyond just sticking a sign in the yard and opening the door and waiting for people to show up. We'll talk about the importance of becoming your local economist of choice for your buyers, creating and executing a powerful buyer consultation. I could probably talk about the buyer consultation until I'm blue in the face. It's such a powerful process to go through with your clients to really set everybody up for success. We've got some proven systems to share with you guys for lead follow-up. And then, of course, one of my other favorite topics is the showing assistant model and just really how buyer agents can introduce some leverage into their business. So moving on, to get our mindset in the right spot here and knowing that we're coming up on the middle of the year, we always want to check in on where we are against our goal. And so some questions that we want you to keep in mind as you are, deciding whether signing up for the program makes sense for you and your business right now and whether you're able to participate 100%, right? So what do you intend to accomplish in the next 90 days that's specific to your buyer business?
Well, and Sarah, why don't you talk a little bit about your goals for this year for your buyer team?
Sure.
And maybe what you guys accomplished last year in roundabout numbers so that they get a little perspective of why you say the things that you say will be able to be accomplished.
Got it. Okay. So in 2018, our Loken Group buyer team closed 398 buyer units. And our goal for 2019 is 648 buyer units. And so, Lance and I have, we've been working together for the past 6 years. And when I joined the team 6 years ago, we really didn't have a buyer department. We had 8 people on our team. We were just taking leads as they came in and figuring out what to do with them while we were working with them. It's almost as though we should call those people now and apologize for what we put them through.
That's right.
However, our buyer team has evolved significantly in the last 6 years to where now we're setting ourselves up for success through these systems and processes and really being in tune with our goal and our numbers to where we are able to achieve some great results and put up some big buyer unit numbers because our team is in alignment on the goal and we're working towards that goal and keeping that goal top of mind every single day. So think about what you intend to accomplish in the next 90 days specific to your buyer business. Think about what may be holding you back from building a big buyer business. Think about what tools you may need in your tool belt to break through some limiting beliefs. And Lance, what are some common limiting beliefs we hear about working with buyers?
Well, a big thing is, they take up so much time.
Mm-hmm.
They can never find the right house.
Mm-hmm.
It's just challenge after challenge. Of course, that's why I like the listing side of the business. But you have to have emotion and relationship mindset.
Maybe.
And some people, maybe some people may not appreciate that, and others, it may be exhausting. So.
Right. And I love that you said that buyers are, kind of buyer myth. We'll say buyers are tire kickers, buyers are liars. I think we've all heard those things before. And my response to that, and I know Lance agrees with me here, is that buyers can be liars and buyers can waste your time when you allow them to control your schedule. So we'll spend some time in this program talking through how we can set you and set your buyers up for success and helping you break through these limiting beliefs. The MREA book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, for those of you who are on this webinar that may have not read that book yet, Gary Keller talks about how, in our business, we want our buyer business and listing business to be split about 60-40. Is that right, Lance?
Yep.
So 60% listings, 40% buyers. So anybody out there on this webinar who may be very listing focused, what a great opportunity to learn how to introduce some buyer agents into your business and really build that up to where you're operating a business with that 60-40% split. And again, your mindset working around buyers, that's kind of what we just talked about, and some limiting beliefs on buyers are liars. Buyers think that they're on HGTV and want to point out everything that they can in the house. And, I think for someone like me who's been in this business for 6 years and worked with buyers specifically for 6 years, I have stories for days on how much time I've wasted in the past, not really controlling my schedule and allowing my clients to control that schedule. So we'll talk in this program about some great ways to really maintain your schedule. We learn in bold, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Just some great tips and tricks on keeping a strong mindset around working with buyers from really more of a business perspective than anything else, and while still being nice and being friendly and being empathetic and all those good things too. And knowing that this program will launch right at the middle of the year, one question to keep in mind is how many buyer units will you add to your business in 2019, and what will your action plan be to accomplish the goal? So we'll get really clear on our goals here in this program and the action steps needed in order to achieve those goals. And Lance will tell anybody firsthand how important the consistency of doing the activities are going to be in order to achieve the results that you want to see.
One of the key points is, especially back in the beginning, 7 and 8 years ago, we were always looking for buyer closings, and they were coming in as onesies and twosies, and I had a goal at one point in time that we'd have a closing a day in the 30-day cycle, and that just seemed such an outrageous goal. And then when we accomplished it, we wanted to go after 2 closings a day. And that seemed like an outrageous goal. And now we do it on a consistent basis. And when we have fallout, because everybody has fallout, from a closing perspective, the pain isn't nearly as severe as when you had 1 or 2 closings in a week or 1 or 2 closings in a month. So right. That consistency is huge.
Yeah, the consistency, and like Lance mentioned, it's something that didn't happen instantaneously. We've had the opportunity to build a business over time, and it started with one person doing 1 closing and then us building off of that. So anybody in this webinar who might be brand new to real estate and just not know where to start, we'll also talk about some best practices for just getting your business up and running from a buyer's perspective and getting consistent with those activities so you will start to see those results, which is why we're also going to have that 90-day follow-up webinar at the end of a 90-day period, July through the end of September, just so we can really hear firsthand from you guys what kind of results you're seeing with implementing those systems into your business for 90 days. So real quick here, we're going to run through just some things we'll also dive into in the program, but really some things we want to share on how to best set your buyers up for success. And so my mind always goes to thinking about how a buyer travels through your business, right? And we spend a great deal of time at KW talking about lead generating, and I'm sure everyone on this call or on this webinar can appreciate the importance of lead generating. And there are some very specific ways that we can lead generate for buyers, right? We don't always have to lead generate for listings, although when your team is set up to lead generate for listings and you get the listing, we want to get buyer leads off of those listings and the signs in the yard and the web traffic and things like that. However, run through some ways real quick where we can lead generate for buyers, right? Sign calls, web leads, of course, from existing listings. Door knocking. You can door knock for buyers. Open houses, of course, are huge as a huge lead generation opportunity looking for potential buyers. Your sphere of influence should always be a hot spot for lead generating for buyers as well. And of course, client referrals and agent referrals. And then the next step there would be, once you get into a system or a habit of consistently lead generating and have that system in place, then let's think about the lead capture and follow-up opportunity within your team or within your business. So we all know that ready, willing, and able buyer leads should be set for a buyer consultation. Anything else should be entered into your CRM and added to a touch campaign, which for those of you on this webinar, Command is on the way, and that'll all be a system that you can utilize Command for. And then of course, nothing's more important than when you put your buyer leads on a CRM is actually following the campaign and doing what doing what your touch campaign suggests for you to do. Then of course the next step there is the buyer consultation, right? We spend a whole week talking about the importance of the buyer consultation and just really setting those expectations with your clients. And Lance, why are expectations so important with buyers?
Because then you're the one in control and not allowing the buyer to be in control. And I think that's been a huge tactic for the success of your entire team, because you guys are now managing the process instead of being managed in the process.
Right. We teach people how to treat us, don't we?
That's
a bold law that we all know too well. And it's so true. And think about how many times, and my hand is up with you guys out there in this webinar, where we would jump and run and show a house the minute we get a phone call and someone says, I'm parked in front of the 123 Main Street and I want to see it today. And we go, okay, great, I'll see you there in 20 minutes. And then that doesn't pan out into anything, and we just think about, man, we just wasted so much time. How different could that look when we really show our value through a pre-qualification script to this buyer, potential buyer at that point, set a consultation at our office, at a neutral site, and really talk through the value of the buyer hiring you to represent them. And it's a great opportunity to set expectations of what's happening with the market, what's happening or what will happen through the home buying process with your buyers. And you're also going to get an opportunity to set expectations about the things you can and cannot control. And then, of course, we'll talk more about selling appointments on the next slide here. And on our team, we call it a selling appointment. We refer to it as home shopping, not a showing appointment, because we want to make sure that we are in the mindset of selling homes, not showing homes. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to show a bunch of houses. I want to sell a bunch of houses. So we're really selective on the language that we intend to use when we're talking through how a buyer travels through our business. So what could it look like with every one of your buyers went into pending by you showing them 5 homes or less? Think about that for a minute, because I hear all too often buyer agents go, gosh, I've shown this buyer 65 houses and they're not making an offer. And my question back to them is, why? Right? So really just a way to set expectations on how many homes you'll show in one day. Who's ever gotten an email from a client saying, hey, Sarah, I want to see these 30 houses on Saturday. Go ahead and set them up. And most of us just shrug our shoulders and go, yep, all right, let's go, as opposed to pushing back and saying, you know what, why don't you pick your top 5? We'll see those first. And then if those homes don't work out for some reason, we'll reschedule a different day.
I'll never forget the second year of business, and a friend of mine goes, hey, got all these houses show. We showed 53 houses in a 4-hour time span, which was incredible, yes. And what a complete waste of time, because we didn't end up purchasing any of those 53 houses.
And even though it only took you 4 hours, what a waste of time, right?
Yes, correct.
Or not the best use of your time from an efficiency standpoint.
Right.
And anyone who knows Lance knows how important efficiency is to him. And really, setting expectations again with the home shopping, you'll hear Lance and I say over and over again how critical expectations are when you're working with any type of client, whether it's a seller, whether it's a buyer, what expectations with agents that you co-op with, expectations and following through on those expectations are critical in taking a buyer all the way through the process. Contract to close, for those of you on a team that may have a transaction coordinator, we'll spend some time talking about that in the program, and even talking about some best practices for maybe introducing a transaction coordinator into your business through the career visioning process, leveraging your allied resources, right? Your inspectors, your lenders, your title companies, Keller Mortgage. We'll talk about some best practices for leveraging those allied resources, and again, setting expectations with your clients on what each person's role is in the process. And of course, closing and post-closing, what a great opportunity for us as buyer agents. When we are at the closing table, everybody is happy for the most part, and what a great opportunity to get a testimonial from your client for you to use in future marketing material with their permission, of course, and ask for a referral. What could it look like when every single one of your buyers that closes on a home with you also gives you a referral? We'll talk about some of that as well. For those of you out there who have heard of Mike Hicks, I'm sure you've heard him speak at Mega Camp or Family Reunion. What percentage of his business is referral-based, Lance?
83%.
83%. He's in Idaho Falls, Iowa.
Yep.
That's right?
Idaho.
I'm so sorry, Idaho Falls, Idaho. And a huge portion, majority of his business is all referral-based because of the promise that he implements. And we'll talk about that some more as well in our program. And last but not least, my new favorite thing is tracking numbers. You guys, how do we know if what we're doing is working if we aren't tracking things? And Lance, how often do you look at our numbers for our team?
Every single day, hour by hour.
And now how often do I look at our buyer team numbers?
Every single day, hour by hour.
Hour by hour. Lance and I we do a shared spreadsheet to track our numbers, and he and I are often on there together. Yep. Looking at how things are tracking. And guys, I'll be the first to admit, numbers aren't sexy. They're not a sexy thing to me. They're not exciting, yet when we are consistently tracking our numbers, just as we're consistently doing our activities and tracking the activities simultaneously and seeing the results, then at that point, we know what we're doing is working. And when we track our numbers consistently and do the activities consistently, when we don't see the results that we're set out to, or that we want to see, then we're able to recognize the gaps, right?
Numbers can really tell you a story if you're in tune with them.
Absolutely.
And you are tracking them on a regular basis, because you check and you find out the stop gaps real quick.
Absolutely, we do. Yes. And so that's the question we get often too is, well, I'm a buyer's agent. What's important about tracking, right? I do my job and I'm really nice, and then the results show up. And then of course, Lance and I go, well, do they? Right? And so people often ask us, well, what are you even tracking from a buyer's agent perspective? And we have gotten really clear with the Loken Group on knowing how many phone calls it takes to get a lead, how many leads it takes to get an appointment, how many appointments it takes to get an agreement signed, how many agreements signed it takes. We track the conversions from agreement signed to offers written to pendings to closings, and then ultimately to our profit and our GCI. And we've gotten really clear on this, and I love sharing this information now, because I can see if perhaps one of my buyer agents is writing a ton of offers and not getting any offers accepted and not putting any buyers in the pending, then my conversation with that particular buyer agent becomes, what can we change potentially in the offers that you're writing, or maybe the way they're being presented to the co-op agent, so we can increase this number of offers accepted and pendings, right? So like Lance mentioned, when we can break these numbers down into smaller chunks, or chunk it down is a new thing we like to say around here, we can get really clear on where those stop gaps are. And then instead of us coming up at the end of the year and falling short of our goal, we're already in a space where we can recognize when there is a gap and address it before we get too far into the weeds. And so, Keller Williams offers some fantastic tools for tracking. Keller Williams has a pipeline report that you can find on KW Connect right now, which will be a big part of KW Command when Command is up and running. And then for those of you out there who are familiar with the 4 conversations, that is a kind of the main conversation around producing agents and how we're tracking those metrics in one space, to where we are, again, able to recognize those gaps and really fine tune our production to make sure that our activities are in alignment with our goals. So we've got a couple minutes left here. And so just some housekeeping things, like we mentioned at the top of the hour, our next launch for the 90-Day Buyer Challenge starts on Wednesday, July 3rd. We trust that you all will join us for 9 fabulous webinars of content and follow up, and really just sharing some success stories on working with buyers and talking through really how to build that big buyer business. So to register for the program, you can visit mapscoaching.com/group. You'll scroll down a little bit and look at the 90-Day Buyer Challenge, which you'll hover over that, click sign up, and you can fill out the information sheet right then and there. And we'd love to have everybody join us, and look forward to a powerful 9 webinars, 8 weeks, and a follow-up webinar together. So we'll leave the last 5 minutes open for questions, and anybody can just hop on the questions box and type in a question there on your toolbar or taskbar, and Lance and I are here to answer any questions that you may have about the program, about Lance and I and our business, anything we can do to help you. We are here to answer questions. So let's hear it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We do want to respect your time. We know how valuable your time is. So thank you so much for joining us. Oh, the cost of the program, that would be helpful to know, wouldn't it? When you go to the group coaching page on the MAPS Coaching website, the cost of the program is $298, I believe. Let me look that up right now and verify that. And it comes down, that number divided over the 9 webinars, it comes out to $32 a webinar, or 53 cents a minute. So you get Lance Loken for 53 cents a minute when you sign up. You're a cheap date, Lance. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But do it. Yes, $298. Thank you for asking, Gwen. Any other questions? All right, you guys. Well, we look forward to seeing you on our program launching July 3rd. If you have any questions, you can email MAPS. You can contact Lance and I. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. And we look forward to having you join us for, oh, I think we got one more question. That one right there. Are we using bold script or using our own? Great question. So we actually have a combination of some of our own scripts and pre-qualification scripts that we use for working with buyers. We do reference bold scripts, of course, because it's bold material. And we've actually referenced some scripts that we've gotten from other locations as well. So bold script, it's going to be a combination of a lot of different scripts. Thank you for asking. Oh, got one more question right there. You're welcome. Perfect. Oh, numbers tracking. How do we come up with our numbers tracking spreadsheet? I'm going to default all spreadsheet questions to Lance. That's his wheelhouse.
We have an Excel spreadsheet that we designed and created, and we utilize it on a daily basis. We have our leading indicators and our lagging indicators. So we go all the way from appointment set all the way through closing, and we'll track through that quite often.
Yeah, Lance is a former CFO in the corporate world, and so spreadsheets are kind of his wheelhouse. And just know that you don't have to have a spreadsheet as fancy as Lance's to track your numbers. You can go to kwconnect.com right now and go to the Career Growth Initiative, and there is ample information there, videos that you can watch on some best practices for tracking your numbers, using the 4 conversations, using the pipeline report. Keller Williams has really set their agents up for success with all of those different tracking tools kind of feeding into one another, to where you can track all of your results from the time that you get a lead and you put them in your pipeline until the time they're closing and you're collecting your profit. So I definitely recommend visiting the Career Growth Initiative page on KW Connect to look around for some more tracking opportunities. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a powerful day. We look forward to, like I said, seeing you guys on July 3rd. Go to mapscoaching.com/group to click on the 90-day buyer challenge link and click sign up. And we will look forward to sharing some time with you guys for 8 weeks, starting Wednesday, July 3rd.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
See ya.